What is up? What's up, everybody? Cowboy here. Monday morning quarterback. Actually, no, just Monday morning. About 6:30 my time, 8:30 AM EST. Actually, 8:31. And Bitcoin went ahead and did more or less what I said it would do, except it took an extra day or two. The weekend volatility tends to be pretty lightweight. Of course, not a lot of people in the market over the weekend to push price around. So let me go ahead and share the screen here. Now, we're going to talk more about Algo Factory and what that is later. There is a QR code on the top right-hand side of the screen. You can zap that if you are interested in what we do and how we do it. Very long story short, we teach people how to trade, how to extract money out of the market on a regular basis, right? So there's a lot of people who like to invest out there. They like to, I buy this crypto and hold it, and that's great. Or they buy this stock and hold it. That's great. Not a problem. What we do is we teach people how to extract money out of the market, say, maybe, I don't know, a few times a month or a few times a week, whatever your pleasure is. Okay, so here's Bitcoin, right? Now, Bitcoin did look like it was going to take a tumble, and it was affecting my SOL trade, my Solana trade. And unfortunately, there's a Solana trade that I've been in for several days. And of course, Bitcoin looked like it was going to drag that down. Bitcoin grabbed some liquidity here from the downside. Let me zoom into this to make it a little bit easier to understand. And we're going to start taking away some of this noise off the chart here just to help out. Just to help us out. Now, the red ATH, that was the old all-time high. I'm going to get rid of that too because that's starting to become less and less relevant. But that was the top here, and that was the all-time high from 2021. And I'm going to roll back into a lower time frame. We're going to look at where each of these candles is 3 hours worth of price action. Okay, so that way we can get a little bit more granular on our look here. And you can see these liquidity dives to the downside, right? These kind of dives down where price goes down really quick. And what it does is there are people who have gone long, right? So like this right here, that move down, this move down right there. So those are times where basically people went long and their stop losses were sitting right below there, right? Maybe they had high leverage longs where, they're borrowing a lot of money to augment their position. And when you do that, your stop losses have to be very close to price. And so a lot of predatory algorithms, a lot of market makers will push price down to stop those people out. And the reason they do that is because without getting too complex, there's money to be made doing that. And things usually don't move on until the leverage is cleared out anyway. So in the meantime, price is now approaching 72,000, which is a number that I've been looking at for, I've been looking at 70,000 for, the video that I did was probably 4 or 5 days ago now that said price would be over 72, possibly in 48 hours. It looks like I was about 48 hours too early on that, and that's still pretty darn good to call that within a few days, right? So let's see who we got in the comments. Mab Vet, good to have you in. Lovely. We got a few people watching. Quiet Monday, though. Usually we have more people watching. So either way, though, if you have charts that you want to see, then please, by all means, ask for them. In the meantime, I will say that what I'm seeing on Bitcoin, it looks like one of these kind of, I've heard it called a vertical accumulation, and I know it's not vertical, it's actually, but you can see that the highs are higher and the lows, with the exception of that large liquidity grab, are higher. So price is more or less moving up in this channel. And I don't really trade channels, but channels are indicative of pretty much the bulls being strongly in charge during an accumulation. Like most accumulations are going to be a sideways thing. Most accumulations are going to occur inside of a rectangular box and look kind of like this. That's definitely an accumulation with a deviation, right? So price consolidates within a range, and If price goes up afterwards, it was an accumulation where more people were buying and selling. And if it goes down afterwards, it was a distribution, more people selling than buying. Here's another accumulation. So, that's what that is. And then they have this massive liquidity grab that was a deviation out of that. But if you look at this, you could say holistically going up and sideways, this, if price continues up from here, which it very well probably will, then we're looking at what is basically a vertical accumulation. Price is now above 72,000. It's at $72,100 and appears to be in a bullish mode and continuing up. So this is going to push up a lot of crypto. Monday morning definitely bullish for the crypto market. Let me go ahead and modify some items here. Okay, so now I did make some really nice calls. Of course, we're not a signal service per se, but I did tell there's a whole series of coins that I kind of swiped up several days, maybe actually a couple weeks ago, and among them is Render here. And let's see if I can find the right chart for that. I picked up Render. I picked up a nice bag of Render, if you will, back on the 7th, I believe it was. No, it was before that. I should say Render was at the time, I think it was like the 4th of March, or it might have been the day before that. So, but at the time, Render was about $7, and now it's nearly twice that. So whatever money I spent on Render is now almost doubled. The rest of the crypto market decided to really start moving up as of March the 5th, and now we're on the 11th. So this is a little over a week ago that I made several altcoin purchases, and some have gone up and some have gone down. Mostly they've gone up. So that's all very good news. And of course, I do share those kind of purchases with Algo Factory, which is over at algofactory.tech. Zap the QR code. Whenever I make those kind of purchases or whenever I go into a trade, I generally will share that with the group, so they get to see what I'm doing ahead of time. And of course, they can do their own research. And if they have done the research and like what I've done, they can always do whatever they want to do on the back end. You want to join a similar trade, then by all means. Let's see here. Solana. Of course, Bitcoin. I mean, you can see just kind of remembering that Bitcoin chart, it looks much like Solana right now. So Bitcoin is just kind of pressing everything up, and Solana itself is back into profit. The liquidity grab in Bitcoin threatening to take me out of this trade. However, my stop loss was well placed here, and Solana was able to grab some liquidity and now is moving back up into profit. Now we do have all-time highs for Solana at like 260. So we're quite a ways away from all-time highs, which means that it shouldn't be too difficult for price to continue moving up in this regard, right? We're just kind of looking at Solana retracing old territory, if you will. All right. So, but there you have it. Solana back in profit. And, this trade is not quite the sweet entry that it used to be, but I do have targets up at 171. Now, I did have an older Solana trade with targets around 144, and those targets were met and met beautifully. And I had called that 144 out. We're talking about quite a while ago. What's up, Jushi? Jose in the house. What's up, brother? Hope you're having a good workout. Jushi in the gym. So yeah, I have a lot of wins. I mean, you can go back over these shows and find that I have not only shared some of them right here on these shows, I've shared some of these trades, and people have been able to see me enter them. And of course, if you do your own research and you like the way I'm trading, you can also enter a similar trade. And for every one of those, there's at least one or two at least sitting over at Algo Factory where I share that ahead of time. So and I share a lot of times on video my logic for these trades, and many times, I'd say more often than not, while people are kind of in the Algo Factory morning show. Because here's the deal, right? The schedule is I do a lot, and Vita Gorilla is usually on with me on these ones here too, starting at 8:30 EST. We do the show until 9, and then for another hour after that, we do a private live lab where people will come on, they'll show us their algos, or they will they'll like a lot of times I will actually have somebody come on as a guest and I will look at their algorithm and see if there's a way we can maximize that or, help it work better. That is one thing that we do that's very, very hands on. And another thing we'll do is just we'll talk about the charts. People will say, hey, can you show me this chart? Can you show me that chart? Or, what do you think's going to happen to price? And of course, we do forecasting and stuff like that. Nothing's investment advice, so on and so forth. So that's that. That's Solana. I want to take a look at AVAX. AVAX is kind of the quieter, but just as badass almost as Solana. And in this case, actually looks a little bit more bullish than Solana does. From a strictly price action standpoint, okay, so let me back out to a higher time frame on this to get a more holistic look here. Now, AVAX has its local high at about 49. It's like say $50, right about 50. And it does seem to it pulled back to the 618 Fibonacci retracement back in January in late January. So, and that was just a beautiful 618 pullback bounce up. Of course, the liquidity grabs that you see are Bitcoin inspired, if you will. But it does look as if AVAX wants to continue upward here, right? So where might it go? Oh, well, I've already done targets here based on this large impulse here. I did some Fibonacci extensions, and we do have targets sitting up at 50, 57, 68, even up at about 80. Now 50, of course, I wouldn't take that as a target. I would take that as a resistance at this point. So I would have to be pretty confident in the breakout. And again, you have to be careful in this time with Bitcoin because look, what if you had gone long right here, had being confident in the breakout? What if you had gone long, say like I'll put a line, like say right here, and then one of these liquidity grabs, especially that one, might have taken you out of your trade. So, this is a time in crypto where there are massive upsides. However, you do run the risk of of getting stopped out, and that's just part of the game, and that's okay because there's just such massive upside that the wins will cancel out the losses. And if you're going to be a trader, you have to be willing to take losses. A possible trade with AVAX. I mean, look, here's the problem with going into AVAX right now. I don't like jumping into ceilings, right? And you do have this resistance right here at 50. So this is going to depend on there being a really strong breakout. So there's a couple ways to look at AVAX right now. Could put a deeper stop on here to be safe, and then maybe have targets up at say 68 and even 57, and that gives you a good 2-to-1 up to 68, and that's a possible trade. Although a lot of people, what they might do instead of entering now, they may choose to wait for AVAX to break out and actually let's just say it breaks out right now. Let's say it gets real, Bitcoin just starts going strong and it breaks out. Possibly look for like a pullback here after the breakout at 50, and then take a trade. I wouldn't necessarily go all the way up to this this kind of high 70s target, early 80s target. I would probably just keep it right here. And then once the breakout is sort of secure, if you will, potentially I might take a trade that looks like this. And at that point, Bitcoin would need to be pretty bullish for me to do that. And it is. I mean, Bitcoin, as we looked at earlier in this show, you notice that it had that liquidity pullback, and then now it's, made new all-time highs. So pretty sure that's going to be the case. So I would, and again, that's definitely going to, factor in. By the way, if there's anybody in Algo Factory who is asking me questions during this show, I'm looking at the YouTube messages, right? So I would hop onto YouTube and ask my questions through YouTube at this time, and I can go ahead and help to answer your questions over there. So it's hard to look at more than one group of questions at once, right? So let's see here. Let's take a look at, we already looked at render. Let's see. Caspa, holding strong. I bought a bit of Caspa here, and it was actually, as I've predicted, look at that. These drawings are kind of as I've predicted more or less. And I bought Caspa as a hold. I didn't necessarily by a lot up here just because it had extended so far. But I had the feeling the Caspa might level out up here, kind of at its current price around this 15. It certainly wicked down pretty heavily, um, towards the 11, 12 level, and that was a very fast recovery back up here. So it looks like Caspa may have grabbed some liquidity from its prior consolidation back here in January and is headed back up and continuing in that direction. So the way I've drawn this is more or less how it's gone, but it does appear that Caspa might take a little more time to head up, but I do think it will head up from here. It can, really will depend on Bitcoin strength. I mean, if you look at the high time frame Caspa chart, it looks like I said, it looks like I might have bought a top. And, I'm not big on buying tops, but I bought Caspa not as a trade. I bought it as a long term hold. And my plan would be that if it were to come back down, then I would buy some more. So I didn't buy a huge heavy bag of it. I just bought it like, okay, it's probably going to be higher next year, or I'd say 8, 9, 10 months from now than it is right now. So I figured I would just average in if it heads down, right? So I think Caspa has a lot of potential. I did a whole video on Caspa. It's actually what's like called a free coin. So there's no ICO or anything like that. And it's runs on what's called the Ghost DAG protocol, where basically it is proof of work, and the blocks take 1 second to confirm, and you can run multiple blocks at a time. So it does have a lot of throughput potential. It's not like Bitcoin that can take hours. It's much quicker, and it has an emission schedule that is in a way like Bitcoin, where there's, you could say, I don't want to call it halvings, but the rewards do get cut. The emission of Caspa into the ecosystem degrades over time. The amount going in gets cut over time, so you have a bit of a deflationary with a top target. I want to say it's 19 million Caspa will ever be out there. So of course, you're looking at kind of a Bitcoiny scenario, and I like that Caspa is proof of work, right? So you don't have an ICO, you don't have a bunch of people backing it. It's a community driven coin, 100%. So that's then that even the funding mechanism is community driven, which some people don't like that. Some people want to see an automatic funding mechanism where profit is taken from the coin itself to fund the operation. But in this case, even the community makes that decision. So very community driven, kind of like Digibyte. In fact, somebody put some like Digibyte. We have a new member over in the Rogue Discord who was talking about Digibyte. And Digibyte's been around forever. I want to say it started out as like I think it was like a coin that people were using over in Minecraft or something. And so it's very community driven. Digibyte is massively, and it's gone up by about it's looking like it's going to try to make it times 3 going back to early February. Although let's look back. Yeah, so it's got the same trough as everything else, going down to like half a cent. And okay, that's not is that a times 3? Okay, yeah, that is. So now it's going up to 1.6 cents. I'm going to look at an older chart here. You go to Bittrex, that's an older exchange. Of course, you can see Digibyte reaching in 2020, it got down to 0.2 of a cent. At its top, it was up to 18 cents. So you're looking at what is that times? See, 0.2 of a cent. So times 5 to a cent. So it's like a times 100 from 0.2 of a cent all the way up to 18 cents, and we're back down at this, 0.8 of a cent. So if it were to reapproach its all-time high, that's going to be like a times 40 or 20 or something along those lines. I'd have to actually do some math on that. But I'd say it's about a times 30 or something along. That's great. I mean, if it reapproaches that high in this current bull market, and it very well could, you can see last time the halving, I think, was in May, if I remember correctly. And so after the halving, Digibyte really ran up. And then, of course, during the 2021 crazy bull, that it made its way up super high. And that's, again, the only reason I'm looking at is it's a very community-driven coin, just like, in a way like Caspa, right? That's very community-driven. So, this being that it's a community coin, you could look at it possibly as, oh, this might be, in a certain way, the way that the Caspa community is going to react. Vita Grilla, sir, how are you?
Oh, top of the morning to you, cowboy. Top of the morning to you. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. It's a beautiful Monday morning. I'm just enjoying myself, making friends with a cup of coffee.
Oh, all right.
Right. How are you?
I'm good. Doing
Very
chats.
Good. Oh, chats are wonderful. So what are you talking about? Are you talking about Digibyte?
Digibyte.
Have you touched Bitcoin yet?
Oh, first thing.
Yeah, I missed the Bitcoin talk.
You did.
Take a look at that. Bloody hell. Okay, well,
Busy
what else?
making coffee.
I was making friends and making acquaintances with my colleagues out in Asia. And because it is over there right now, 8:59 p.m., 51 p.m. In Asia, in Hong Kong specifically. And they like to talk during the evening times because that's when they're done with their work. They've had their dinner with their families and they're just closing out the day, their business day. So I like to catch up with them, see where things are, where the markets are going, especially the gold markets and precious metals, because all these other sorts. I don't know if you realize that there was a post put out by Michael Saylor. MicroStrategy just bought an additional 12,000 bitcoins at an average price of 68,474. 12,000 bitcoins, my friend.
Well, they're already up like 5%.
I know. That means their total holdings of bitcoins is 205,000 bitcoins because they know what's coming. And this is
BlackRock has more than them as of like last week.
Well, what is the BlackRock's number right now?
I don't know. There's an article about it though.
Crikey,
BlackRock has more holdings than MicroStrategy, but that might have been that might be.
Oh, the thing with BlackRock, you don't know. They're never truthful. They could have like subsidiary, they could have like colleagues or partnerships with other firms, and then say that we hold X amount of bitcoins, but God only knows if they actually do. The shysters.
They're saying they're liars.
And they're always like Larry Fink. Any man with the last name of Fink is a comic book villain, my friend, and not to be trusted.
Larry Rat Fink.
He's a rat fink, indeed. Indubitably.
Ah, boy. Larry Fink.
So what is my Pepe doing this morning?
Sucking the big one.
What?
Just kidding.
Are you kidding me?
Doing great.
Pepe's going through the moon.
The moon. It's going for the moon. Peppuccino sitting at I don't even know how many, what is that, 9/100ths of a penny or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you got it. Let me see. I think you bought it I think you're up at a ×10 on that one.
Oh, that's beautiful. I think so. I think that's where it's at. I have to open up my Pepe wallet.
You bought it in this trough, didn't you?
Yes, I bought it in the doldrums of Hades itself.
Yeah, no, Pepe's. I don't even know what it does. I don't know.
It does nothing.
Oh. No.
It's simply for the memification and enjoyment.
Yeah. Jose is laughing at us. He's like, not trusting BlackRock. That's wild.
Yes.
No, Jose knows what's going on. So yeah.
Oh my
I don't know,
God. Man. My holdings of Pepe is just magnificent. It's the most winning coin I have.
Well, it's up at a ×10.
Bloody hell.
Bloody hell. Like some kind of fuck. Well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to start cuss with Gus this time in the morning. I'm too mellow for that, man. We'll mellow. So that's Pepe. I guess we might as well look at the meme coins people want to see. We got dog whiff hat. Just kidding. It's not. Oh, look at that. Dog with hat looks like Pepe. He got from almost to times 10 itself. In fact, if you got dog with hat back in, say, February or January, you're past at times 10 because that thing went to $2.50.
Holy
Meme
shit.
coin madness. Bonk.
I think I heard a little bit of dog with hat. I'm not sure.
Now, Bonk is, that one actually is doing well. Look at that.
Meme coins of the future, my friend.
Are they?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I think they're the present.
They're the present.
I think they'll do. I mean, I think meme coins will continue.
I
to make
think it is the
lots of
hottest
money
chick in the room right now.
What's that?
I think it's the hottest chick in the room right now.
Yeah, that's what they are.
But don't come back with her during the high school reunion. She might be 300 pounds.
Don't take her home to mom. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that she might be 300 pounds in the high school reunion time. You know, she might come back. You see her like 10 years later. She's 300 pounds. 3 different children from 4 different baby daddies. Yes.
How do you have 3 children from 4 baby daddies?
I don't know. Ask Becky. I'm not exactly sure.
That's like physically impossible.
It is. All things are possible.
When you're a meme coin, certainly.
When you're a meme coin, you set the boundaries and the rules, my friend. Especially the rules of engagement.
Yeah, I can't do British because Jose and I were talking to Jose being in the chat.
Hello.
We were chatting with an Australian kind of buddy right before the show here, so
there's always
stuck in Australian, and it's not a very good accent, but it's passable.
Right,
a lot of gas.
Well, what you got to do here, right?
Oh, please don't.
No, I'm not going to. Right,
just don't. Is that if I try to mix like any kind of Anglo accent, and I try to go from like Scottish to Irish to it just doesn't. I'm not.
Don't go Scottish when you can go Irish. Yeah.
What you got against the Scots?
I don't have anything against the Scots. I like the Scots actually.
Let's see here. We got just looking at Bonk though, like here's the thing, like there was a move. There wasn't a move in the ordinals, actually. Let's see here what happens. Some kind of like
person, Cowboy. Can you explain what the bloody hell is an ordinal?
Ordinals are like Bitcoin based. So I think it's like Bitcoin based NFTs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like stuff that's going on the Bitcoin chain. And there was, here it is. I guess OrderSwap. This came from our buddy Nekos here. OrderSwap just partnered with Ordi Bank. So maybe that's why we're seeing this hold up. Because if you look at, Bonk was, that's a 2023 pump. That was a big deal in 2023. Went from like literally nothing all the way up to little, like maybe 100 times that or more. So those who got into ordinal or into Bonk or just it's just another meme coin, but it's on the if I'm not mistaken, it's in the ordinal space. But if you look at Bonk, the bag holders only pushed it down from what is this? People started selling at like 35.03, and it only went down to like a third of that or less, maybe a fourth of that, and then it actually went up from 900 up to 47. So 9 times 8? No, 9 times 5. So it went up to times 5 from there. Now the question is whether or not we're going to see it kind of cool off and retrace yet again, and it may not, only because now we're in the whole bull cycle. It might be that we just see this kind of keep going up. It's hard to say right now. So, but what is not hard to say is that we're at the end of the public. Oh my gosh, we have a lot of people watching right now. Holy crap. We got a ton of people watching on Twitter. That's crazy.
How many?
We got like 200 people watching on Twitter.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, what's up? What's up, X?
Yo, listen, guys, join us over in the live lab because look, here's the thing. I am late to the party sometimes. It is what it is. I work in strange time zones and strange times.
Explain, now that we have like some people watching, explain what that brings to us. The fact that sometimes you're late to this show, who you're talking to, and what that gets us.
All right, here's what separates us from the rock star, the rock stars from the groupies, and we're the rock stars. And I'll tell you why. Right, we're the only ones that have, like, I work directly on the institutional side of precious metals as well as digital assets. Right, so in other words, I am a managing partner of a company called Amparo. What Amparo is a liquidity provider and a market maker. In other words, we supply OTC trading desks, we supply exchanges. You name the exchange in some way, shape, or regard. We have either supplied for them or we have settled trades for them. Okay, when if they have some issues on their back end, they need some liquidity, they need somebody to settle trades, we step in, we do that. So on the back end, we see everything that's happening in the digital marketplace. This is why, folks, 2 years ago, I was calling where the Bitcoin price is going to go, and boom, we're here. I mean, literally week to week, month to month. I mean, it's scary. So
It's
I'll
scary,
say that,
yeah. The you're getting information at a very high level, so this is the smart money.
yep, absolutely. And how the Bitcoin market goes, so goes the entire crypto market, right? So that's number one. Number two, same thing on the precious metal side of things, right? On the precious metal side of things, we're I'm dealing again with institutional clients, 9 figures, sitting on management of 9 figures. I myself manage a massive amount of metals for clients, sitting on a massive amount in a very high range. So in other words, I see these things internationally. So I'm not working for Jimmy John's coin and carry gold store down the street from some mom and pop restaurant or whatnot in the middle of West Bumblehoota, Alabama. I'm from New York. I deal on the institutional side. We're dealing with I'm been with a member of the LBMA, London Bullion Market Association, for the last 13 years at this point, almost 15 years. So we get a lot of key intel. Geostrategically, geoeconomically, and we tell you where things are going to go. So you're with Algo Factory, you're going to get that information, and we disperse that information in the private room. That's number one. So you can set up your trades and profit greatly from it. I mean, there are people that have profited from the intel that we drop.
Oh my God, greatly, yeah. But here's the thing: I've been following V the Gorillos and working with you since 2017, and following you since before that. And your macro calls have been on it, like for the stock market, for all this. It's all been accurate for many years now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so with that, you also get the technicals from, in my personal opinion, and I've worked with a lot of traders. Cowboy is the most buttoned down technical trader you could ever deal with, period. He's a phenomenal instructor. And you put the two of us together, you're going to get the combo of the micro, the macro, the geostrategic, geoeconomic, as well as the instructional. That's number one, where you will not only teach you how to trade, but also teach you how to build the algorithms that trade on your behalf 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in any market anywhere in the world. Okay, you could be in a beach in Bali picking lint from your belly button, and your algorithms will be executing those trades for you. So that is the beauty of Algo Factory, and that's what sets us apart from anybody else on planet Earth. And join us. We have people that join us just for the educational aspect of it. It's incredible.
Yeah, I would put it this way: like, understand that if you're a trader, there are three things that matter. There's your technical ability, right? So is your trading method sound? If your trading method is sound, right, then what'll happen next is you have to have the psychological aspect, and you need the business aspect. You need to treat it like a business. Those are three different things that if you do not have one of those things, then your trading will fail. Even if you have the perfect system, if your psychology isn't on point, and if you're like treating it like a business is not on point, you'll lose your money. Like very, 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 very likely you will. So the reason that we teach people how to build their own trading method, and this doesn't mean you have to know how to program or code or build code, anything like that. Like you could just trade old fashioned. When we say algorithm, we're just talking about a straight up method, like an old school trading method. You indicators in and out, do it manually, that's fine. Now if you build your own, what you will have done is you will have tested that out. You will have gone back through time, done your own testing, and because you build this, then you will have the psychology. Now the psychology is where most people lose, right? You could, like, people do all the time, like, oh, I'll trade my system, and their system works. Like, you can find people with a good system and trade that system, and you will probably still lose money because it is not your system. You haven't personally gone back, you have not personally tested that system, and you did not build that system based on your personality. So what we do is, yes, it takes time. It's not a get rich quick. You got to go through, you got to learn how to build a system, and then once you build it, then what will end up happening is that psychology will be reinforced. It's your personality that went into it. You went and you tested it. You have a statistical model. To a statistical degree of certainty that this trading method will work for you. And that's why people come to Algo Factory to build their own system. That's what it's all about. So, we hope to see you over there. algofactory.tech. Zap that QR code at the top right-hand side of the screen. And I know a lot of people are on X watching. So do me a favor, follow me on X. Give me a strong follow. We do this every single day. Like we get on, we take requests. I know X is having a hard time actually making it possible for you to ask us for chart requests during the live stream. So you might have to come over to our YouTube, but we do free to the public 5 days a week, 8:30 AM EST. If you want to see charts, if you say, hey, how high is my crypto going to go? Or where do you think Bitcoin's going to be? Like, you can come onto YouTube and you can ask us that, and we'll be happy to chart that for you for free. We do this every single day. So the YouTube link is on X, like right at the top of the page. So come on over to our website, come to YouTube, watch us. We got a buttload of free content. You don't even have to pay us. You just come watch our stuff for free. In the meantime, if you like what we're doing and you want to be a part of it, of course, come join algofactory.tech. I'm going to go ahead and leave it to Vida Gorilla to get us out of here into the private live lab, which is actually 5 minutes overdue. So we're going to have to go a little bit over today to satisfy our customers if we need to.
Yeah. And with that being said, folks, we're at the end of the show. Follow us over. Join us or die.
Join us.
It's
or
coming.
Die.
It's coming. It's
Dude,
coming.
200 on X. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's cool.
Join us or die.
There it is. All right. A little slow on the uptake there. StreamYard. All right, perfect. We're out of here.
Yeah, there's always a delay with StreamYard.